we need to encourage people to love Jesus, and they can use their artistic gift to serve the King of Kings. I remember when the book came out about 10 years ago, and I was book signing in Barnes & Noble, and a Christian kid came up to me and says, "Thank you, sir, for not making your book look like a Christian book."
Yeah.
We believe that you are strong by design, and you were made in God's image to have a strong body, mind, and spirit. You're listening to the #1 Strength and Health Authority podcast in the world. So let's get ready to unlock your potential and transform your life in today's episode. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Strong by Design podcast. So grateful to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very special episode. It's a highlight episode of an experience that host Jared, Haley, and I just had. My name's Chris Wilson, if I didn't introduce myself already. We had the honor and the pleasure of going to a live event up in Tennessee, just outside of Knoxville, in a town called Sevierville. A lot of water parks up that way. Beautiful country in the mountains. Highly recommend it. And this is a first ever event, RiseUP Con, kind of like a ComicCon, but for the Christian faith, where fandom becomes faith. This is put together, organized by Kevin Sorbo, who we had on our podcast several months back. He told us about this event, and we said, yeah, we're interested, and so we went. We had a great time. We had so many terrific conversations with all of the men and women there that were, in the Christian entertainment industry, producers, authors, speakers, entrepreneurs of all kinds, and just fabulous people. And so you're going to hear some sound bites from the event that we recorded. We had an awesome booth set up. And got to sit down with a lot of people. We also were mobile, walking around and grabbing people, having them come back. And it was just so much fun. So I hope you get that vibe from this episode, how much fun we had, the people that we got to surround ourselves with and enjoy and get to know a little bit. And for the next several weeks after this episode, there will be more RiseUP Con conversations. So we have some full-length episodes with people that we really got to talk with at length, and a few other episodes will just be clips of a few people together. And so just a whole summer here, 2024, of RiseUP Con conversations. So hope you really enjoy this. We had so much fun, and we hope you do as well. We'll talk with you soon. God bless.
Davy Liu, you worked with Disney for a long time, and now you're bringing out your own Disney kind of style, but your own production. We have been created in God's image, and that God is a creator.
That's right.
And as that, we are creators. And why, for so long, are we following Hollywood and not being the leaders of entertainment? So I'm so grateful for what you're doing and what God is using you to do.
You know, in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth, and that's God's first attribute in the Bible. And creativity should not be owned by the Hollywood. You know, Christian needs to take that creativity, that spirit of living God that can create 5 bread out of 2 fish to feed the 5,000. If Disney can take their dark agenda to the world, so much more holiness. But that beautiful artistry still requires discipline, talented people.
Yeah.
If Disney's picking A kids out of the whole world, well, how much more that we need to pick, select, and train our young people to have a beautiful talent, and you gotta sharpen them, because so it's an industry that I'm also promoting as well, that we need to encourage people to love Jesus, and they can use their artistic gift to serve the King of Kings. I remember when the book came out about 10 years ago, and I was book signing in Barnes & Noble, and a Christian kid came up to me and says, "Thank you, sir, for not making your book look like a Christian book."
Yeah.
That was the best compliment. Children knows, man, those churchy looks. I had a major Christian publisher want to publish my book. They tell me to tone everything down, cut this, and we don't need fancy this. And it really breaks my heart, just their mentality of just making God smaller than what the world is doing. Disney told me...
They're putting him into a box, right?
Yeah. Disney tells me do everything with excellence. When we do have Christian publishers and they're just publishing this cheesy crap that I can't stand watching, that's not what God deserves. I'm sorry. I don't care how much money you make. You got to recognize our God is almighty. He created everything with excellence.
I'm Darby Kern. I'm Micah Touche. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we are producers of audio drama, specifically the Jake Muller Adventures, and we're with Armor of God Productions now.
So give me a quick overview synopsis of Jake Muller.
Well, the Jake Muller Adventures is an action-adventure-driven audio drama, like a movie with no pictures.
Right.
Coming back into vogue, like old-time radio, but a little more sophisticated than that. But the story is largely about spiritual warfare, and covers this character Jake Muller as he starts taking his faith seriously, and charts his growth throughout that. But we also deal with issues like what should a Christian think about aliens and UFOs, vampires, zombies, all the stuff that
you
is
should
popular
love them
culture.
as Jesus did.
Morning.
We should.
That's right. That's right.
So we're sitting here with Ben Davies at the RiseUP Con. We're just kind of shooting whatever. We don't really.
We're just hitting record with anybody who we feel is willing.
They just pulled me off the street.
That's
like,
right.
this is bum. We can bring over
It
here and
was
talk about
crazy.
This guy looks
the
important.
things that you were wearing when we found you, I'm glad that we got you some new clothes.
Yeah, there's a big production. We got makeup, wardrobe.
That's
I
right.
was able to change real
Yeah.
quick. It's great.
What are some of the things, Ben, that you've been in that people listening would be familiar with?
I think most people would know me from Courageous, which was one of the biggest movies from the Kendrick brothers.
Yep.
And so I played the rookie cop in that, which was a phenomenal project with a great group of Christian guys that did everything right. And then from there, I've been a part of like 25 movies since then as leading and supporting. And then I did a movie with Kevin Sorbo that they're promoting now.
Which movie was that?
American Miracle.
Okay.
And I probably have the most epic scene of the movie, not to like take away from George Washington or anything. But because I play the guy, his name escapes me, but I read the Declaration of Independence for the very first time.
Okay.
So when we were shooting this on location in the actual square area in Virginia, we're in full get up, like the wigs, the clothes, and everything's like tight and thick cotton. It's like 110 degrees in the middle of summer. Yeah. And so we're out there recording this and reading the Declaration of Independence. Like everyone knows, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, but people don't realize that sucker is like 3 pages long.
I was gonna say, that's just the start.
Yeah. I know the first 2 sentences, maybe, not even in its entirety.
So I was memorizing that thing, and then we get out there in that full get up, and I have basically a 3-minute scene of the movie, like straight through, like 3 or 4 minutes of me reading that. But it was so hot when we were filming it. I got to the end of the Declaration, and then this woman on the front row just passes out.
No.
Yeah, she's like in the audience as one of our girls. And it was that hot.
And the wardrobe. And that wasn't sscripted.
No.
It just happened.
I don't know if it was my performance being so moving or what.
Did you run over to the rescue to help? Or what happened?
No, I couldn't move. I had like a sword on me. The medical people came in really quickly and took care of everybody. But it was just, it's hot.
Did it make the cut?
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Go see it in theaters.
Wait to see. That made the cut. The movie that you were in with Kevin, that's is it American Miracle?
Yeah, American Miracle.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, now the kind of vogue thing to do is just to trash our country and trash like how it was founded and ignore the really amazing, historically altering things that America did when we broke away from these from the colonies and the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. So this one's about the Revolutionary War, and it tells all the amazing historical moments accurately as they happen, but you're focusing on stories that are not negative, first of all. There's all these heroic moments of the Revolutionary War, showing like awesome men and women and these going against all odds, pulling these things off. What happened with Washington, how almost every battle and moment that he was in was a miracle. Yeah. And just tracking that so people can understand how fortunate we are to have the country that we have today and why you should fight for it. Wow. So you're telling all those different stories all in one movie.
That's cool.
Because then to jump around, tell these different characters, and I get to play one of the characters in that movie.
Oh, that's so
awesome.
fascinating.
And you get to read the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, I get to.
Okay.
I got to
ready?
know-
Okay, ready, Ben? Go.
Yeah, you remember
it?
Wild?
You remember?
I had to memorize like 3 pages. I don't remember a line of it. It took me a minute when I was
you
talking
gotta
to
remember, it's we the people, right?
Yeah, we the people, in order to form the perfect.
That's right. You still got the first few sentences. So, Jared, tell us a little bit about the ministry and what's going on.
Yeah, so Proverbs 226 is a nonprofit ministry based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. and we're there to sort of approach the kids that are suffering at the epidemic that is parental incarceration. So in this country, 82% of kids that have at least one parent that has been incarcerated are likely themselves to be incarcerated. 82%.
Wow,
that's what the numbers say.
It's a high number.
It's very high.
Yeah. So we have a heart for the kids that are living out the consequences of their parents' decision that they didn't ask for.
Yeah.
Right. And so what we're trying to do is to actually break that cycle.
Yeah.
We want to be able to just take that pipeline and squeeze it and say, hey, you 82% that are supposed to go to prison, we don't want to have that happen.
Yeah.
And so how we do that, how we sort of bear out that ministry is we go into prisons and we look for individuals, seek them out to say, hey, who's wanting to try to have a relationship with their child? And then we work with those parents, mothers and fathers that are incarcerated, sort of start sharing the gospel message with them. And then we go find their kids, which is its own endeavor unto itself, right? And we try to find those kids, see who's willing to say, hey, do you know your father loves you? Do you know your mother loves you? And they don't.
Yeah.
They don't know that. They constantly are questioning, why would they do what they did if they loved me? They don't know their parent loves them, right? And so that's what we try to do. We bring them together and not bring them into the prison and then put them on a telephone and you have the plexiglass.
Yeah.
We work with the wardens to actually get them to open up the prison and we have a celebration.
Yeah.
You get that opportunity as a parent to you bring the humanity back to the human that is behind bars.
Yeah, dignity.
Right. And allow them to touch, allow them to spend time, allow them to heal their family. And you're changing the generational curse at this point.
Yeah.
And so that's seen out. We have a big celebration. You wouldn't believe it. You go into a prison and we basically make a carnival.
Wow.
The first part of the morning, we do this on Saturdays. It's like a carnival. And these hardened hardened turn into these big kids. Right, you see them see their daughter come running across the room to them for the first time, right? Some of this first time they've met their kids, right? They were born while they were incarcerated, didn't even know it, right? You see those kind of stories, and they had this moment to hold this like baby girl, right? And then they just go into like carnival mode with like cotton candy, right? You know, we have some of the inmates will like just be manning the cotton candy booth, you know, and they're just having a blast. Yeah. They just have this moment to like just be human again.
Here we are still at the amazing
We're RiseUP Con.
RiseUP Con.
That's right. Meeting amazing people.
We are.
Such as
In
this
fact,
fine
we
young
just
gentleman here.
Met this gentleman right here. He's a future Hall of Fame wrestler. What's your name?
Lucas.
Lucas. Lucas has stopped by our booth many times over the last hour.
I would say 5, 6.
5, 6.
How many times have you spun the wheel at this point?
2.
2 times. Oh, that's it?
What'd you win when you spun the wheel? What'd you win?
I won 2 things.
Yeah?
What were they?
I won a jump rope and
Keep here.
I won a jump rope and
You don't
those feet things.
The sliders?
Yeah, the
Exercise
sliders.
sliders. There you go.
You're a big advocate of wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't you have your own YouTube channel?
Yeah.
What is that called?
WWE Bros.
WWE Bros. And what do you do on your channel?
I verified it. It's there.
It's there?
On the channel.
It exists?
Yeah.
We just like do random stuff. Like one time we went to Chuck E. Cheese.
And you just go places and wrestle?
We went to Abrams
You go to
Falls.
public places and you wrestle?
No.
Oh.
You talk about wrestling?
Yeah, we do sometimes.
Okay.
We have a bunch of wrestling figures, so we like do a lot of stuff with that.
And you have a wrestling shirt on right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Reigns, John Cena.
John Cena, never heard of him.
He's
Really?
lying. He's lying to
I'm
you.
lying.
Don't
Can't you
believe
tell?
Chris.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who John Cena is.
Who is your
Yeah.
favorite wrestler?
Yeah, who is your favorite?
The Rock.
The Rock. Okay.
Oh, wait, no, LA Knight.
We're sitting with two of the four Wild brothers, and we're excited to get to introduce them a little bit, learn about what they're doing in the world.
Settle down, fellas.
We're four brothers. We're from the Panhandle, Florida originally, and my dad was
exciting.
a.
Our last name is
Wild.
Our last name's Wild.
Okay.
My dad was a boat captain. He had his own charter business, but early on in life, he was basically through this interesting documentary, he was exposed to really the needs around the world, the needs of unreached people groups who didn't have access to God's Word, the Bible, and translated in their heart language. And as a young guy, he was really stirred by that. And so he ended up actually he was almost done with his marine biology degree. He ended up dropping out of that. He sold his charter boat business, and he went into career missionary work. And so my brothers and I, we were had no say in it, but that was kind of the life that my parents propelled us into, and so it was a pretty exciting, adventurous life. Yeah, so
the youngest was born over there.
Over in Indonesia. So we spent our lives in the country of Indonesia, living in the basically remote highland rainforest jungle among a beautiful indigenous people group called the Wano, and that was our childhood. And so our backyard was literally endless miles of basically virgin jungle, never been explored by a Western naturalist, and we had the privilege of growing up there among this amazing people, the Wano, and we got to learn their heart language, and we lived among them full time for basically our entire childhood. Learned their language and their culture. Grew up rubbing shoulders with them, going out, learning how to hunt and shoot bows and arrows and trap animals. We were amateur naturalists by trade, so we made a lot of significant discoveries of science. Have beetles and butterflies and moths named after our family, and I just grew up having a lot of great adventures. And it was during that time that our home church in America started asking about our lives overseas, and we saw that there's just not a lot of resources available about modern day missions, especially from the perspective of younger kids. And so we started basically creating content for our peers in America, trying to expose them to the needs around the world, but also the great adventure it is to follow Christ with your life. And so that kind of led from one thing to another, and we started basically making videos. So that's kind of a condensed version.
Yeah.
Here we are with Laura, and I'm quite interested in this. In fact, it looks like there's a few booths that are here, kind of in this vein of conversation that we're going to choice42.com, and so what is it that you are trying to accomplish with this platform?
Okay, so Choice for Two is an anti-abortion organization. We're based out of Canada, but because we're all online, we now have a worldwide reach. And we do two things. So on the one half, we're talking with women one-on-one who are considering having an abortion, who are facing an unplanned pregnancy, or even ones who have abortions booked. And we talk with them one-on-one and basically plead for the life of their child and get them to have mercy on their child and to save the life of their child. And then once she's done that, if she does need help, because a lot of women, the reason why they're even considering murdering their baby is because of financial issues, or, we're able to step in and help as needed. The other side of what we do, which is why we're here today, is we create online anti-abortion content, which we've had a couple of viral videos and things like that, which helps the first part of what we do, because women are seeing these videos.
Yeah.
And we have a new series of animated shorts called Exposed.
Ooh.
And the first two are out, and Kevin Sorbo did the voice for the first one, called The Procedure.
When you say it's out, where is it out?
It's out online for free to watch. It's on YouTube, it's on our website. It's
so
on
you
all
just
different...
look up choice42.com on YouTube and it'll pull up?
choicefor2.com is the website. So you just look for Choice for Two on YouTube. But our video page is on our website, which has everything.
Cool.
So, so that's why we're here. Kevin Sorbo's amazing. He just knocked it out of the park, that first episode, which is really intense.
Yeah. So Callie actually has her own podcast.
It is. It's a narrative. So we're telling a story throughout the whole thing. And it's a serial. So there's continued episodes that are dropped every Wednesday. It's for the nerds and people who like time travel and medieval fantasy, but are looking for something that not only talks about hope and courage, but has femininity and masculinity and its beautiful forms played out. So we've kind of switched a few things around here where we've got two main characters, Rona and Flint Thatcher, who are from New Mexico, modern day, and they get whisked back to they get whisked back to medieval Wales in the year 1232. So the title of the podcast is 1232. You can tune in, stream it for free wherever you're getting your podcasts, including this one.
It's a long year.
Right? and you can tune in and hear the show. But we've got Rona, who's a MMA cage fighter from Albuquerque, New Mexico. She hates her brother's guts. He's like a historian, history major, and he's the nerd.
So
and he
it's like
kind
the
of
athlete and the nerd.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a classic tale.
That's right.
We love the classics.
Classic tale.
And they get whisked back to medieval Wales. So,
That's
cool. How does MMA work fighting against swords and armor? We get to dive into that a little bit.
Is this like age specific?
It's all ages.
Okay.
All the characters in it are adults. Rona and Flint are in their early 20s, and everyone else is adults. We do have a little kid in there in the medieval times, but it's an all ages show because I grew up being able to enjoy 80s, 90s, and early 2000s action adventure fantasy, which isn't too much of a genre anymore. We've kind of moved to superheroes, which is great. But I was able to watch, Robin Hood and A Knight's Tale and Timeline and Labyrinth and so many of these shows with my family, and we all got something out of it. And I feel like there's a lack of that in a lot of different media, and especially in this audio format, which is strange. And my sister and I, we both wrote the story together, we really wanted to fill that gap the best we could.
Cool.
So this is
awesome.
an all-ages show.
Is there any spiritual aspects to the show?
Absolutely there is. I have the past 10 years been involved in the professional music industry, playing in music clubs and venues and bars. I get asked a lot of questions about, what I'm doing in those situations from Christians, from non-Christians. So the faith element in it is an attempt to answer some of those real life questions that me and my sister have both received in this life. So instead of using churchy jargon and hopefully not too many old Christian fantasy fiction tropes, we really wanted to bring the questions that Rona and Flint have from modern, burned American Christian culture to a medieval era where God is in everyday language and he's the certainty that they have. They don't know who's going to be king next, if they're going to live, if they're going to find food, but they know that God is there. Put that into medieval Wales where you've got the pagans who are like, oh, sure, we'll add Jesus to the list. But then we have, Christians who are in the early, still kind of an early formation of the church, as we would call it today, addressing these young kids who are like, oh, but God is so not cool. Like we've moved on past that. You guys are, literally in the dark ages. But they learn very quickly how important it is to survival to have that faith and that courage, and how shallow they've been looking at the world. So.
Here we go. We're still here at RiseUP Con. Things are getting down to the nitty gritty. Everyone's packing up early to get the heck out of here, but not us. We are warriors to the end, just like our brand new friend Adam. Adam has an awesome story to share, and what he's creating by hand. What he's making is fantastic, and I can't wait to buy one myself. His whole thing, I'm just so excited. This might be the guy I'm most excited to talk to on the podcast, and I don't think it's the Celsius talking or the fact that I haven't eaten in 7 hours. No, I think what he's doing, what he stands for, and what he's trying to do as a hardworking entrepreneur with an amazing talent is just really exciting. So, Adam, welcome to Strong by Design.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. This was about 3 years ago in the height of the lockdowns. I live in Los Angeles, so all the immoral lockdowns were happening. I decided to launch this. So I just put graphics on my truck, set up on a major thoroughfare between Malibu Beach and Agora, and hoping to maybe meet some people selling these expensive fire pits. Expensive, but well worth it.
That's right.
But
they look awesome.
Only expensive relative to the crap from China.
Sure.
So we've come accustomed to, that fire pit should be $100, $200, $300. Well, it's being made in China. So what do you expect? And you're going to buy another one in 2 years. But anyway,
that's exactly right.
I digress. And so I set up there and took my son out there and sold a few fire pits. And then one day, after 2 months, a guy pulls up
So you're next to like the watermelon stands, you know, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
You're the guy with a fire pit.
There's a fruit stand and then a bonsai tree stand.
Okay.
And that bonsai tree stand's been there for freaking eons.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even understand the fascination with the freaking bonsai tree. And people selling you can't keep the bonsai trees in stock.
Do you think they would have sold bonsai? I was going to say, if Karate Kid never came out,
no one would even
want to buy one.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So way to go, Karate Kid.
Yeah, and I think they were annoyed because here I was. But anyway, I took over their turf.
Yeah.
So I was there, and after about 2 months, again, you never know who's driving by. A guy pulls up. Remember, this is the height of the immoral lockdowns 3 years ago. He comes up, hey, I live a mile down the road. I've been driving by you for 2 months. Mm-hmm. What do you got going on? And instead of immediately showing him the product, I was pissed off with what's going on in America, like so many of us.
Yeah.
I started dropping F-bombs. I'm cursing, the mask, the this, the that.
You're really letting it all out.
Oh, my gosh. And he's just, for 5 minutes, just listening.
Mm-hmm.
I was just happy he wasn't wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have unloaded right at him. And then he said, well, tell me about your fire pit.
Yeah.
And I did. And then he pulled up his phone. He said, let me show you what I'm doing on Facebook.
Yeah.
I looked. I didn't even notice the name. I just see 3.5 million followers. I start dropping some more language. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
And you may have heard of me. My name's Kirk Cameron.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're freaking kidding me.
Yeah.
And that's a true story. And I have the pictures I could show you.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that he was on night 6, a mile down the road from me for those 2 months, at his house, in his backyard, because of all the immoral lockdowns. I keep saying it to hit it home. He was on night 6 of 100 consecutive nights of lighting a campfire in his backyard. He called it American Campfire Revival.
Yeah.
And with the purpose of having a 100-day hopeful plan instead of the Biden 100-day depressing slip my wrist plan. And I mean, those are my words, not his.
No, I know where you're going. Yeah.
And that's what he was doing for 100 consecutive nights. So on night 7, he starts using my fire pit.
Yeah, that's
in his
cool.
backyard.
Thank you so much for listening to the Strong by Design podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe so that more people can find out about our show. Plus, you don't want to miss any future episodes with the amazing guests and topics we have lined up for you.